We can control our death. We can control where we're going to go. Death doesn't have to be scary and meaningless and frightful. A beautiful death doesn't just mean that you're surrounded by your family and friends and you go quietly without any disturbance. That's not a beautiful death. A beautiful death is when you know where you're going and you know where you're going to go afterwards. Just having your friends and family surround you and you call that a beautiful death, that's all this world can say is a beautiful death because they don't know anymore, they can't offer anymore. But a real beautiful death is one that has no fear, controlled, and you go and you continue your work. That's a real beautiful death. So many Tibetan Lamas exhibit this incredible ability. It cannot be a fantasy. So many Westerners now have seen it. Why? Because these great Lamas have Westerner or foreign friends. And they have witnessed it. I've heard this account from Westerners when I was in America, not from a book. Of them seeing footprints, of them having dreams of Rinpoche's coming back. Many, many clear signs. Many, many clear signs. So this sort of power is not exclusive for Tibetan Lamas. It is for all sentient beings who wish to practice and have control of their destiny. And that's what I'm trying to say. We're amazed because, hey, wow, these Tibetan Lamas can do like that, like that, like that. Yes, but it's not exclusive. It's not exclusive. So that's the point that we need to understand, is that these abilities come from practice. They start with commitment. They start with refuge. They start with commitment, refuge, commitment. They start with doing our practice. They start with purifying negative karma. They start with 4 preliminaries, and then we receive a sadhana from our Lama. A real sadhana. We receive an excellent sadhana from our Lama. And we practice that sadhana well, because in every tantric sadhana, higher yoga tantric sadhana. See, the Nyingmas have 6 classes of tantra. Gilu, Kaju, and Sakya has 4. So for argument's sake, let's just stick to 4. In the highest classes of tantra, in every single tantra, they teach you clearly how to die. Not to die, how to die. They teach you how to stay in death. They teach you how to arise from death. And they teach you that once you've left your body, what to look for, what to do. They teach you clearly by motivation, by visualization. They teach you. And then when you solicit your yidam, let's say your yidam is Vajrayogini. Your Vajrayogini blesses and protects you by the power of her Buddhahood. So that when you're doing this process, you don't get lost. So it's like having Vajrayogini there watching you to make sure that this transition is all right. So that is why during our lifetime, to have our yidam, example Tara or Vajrayogini or Lama Tsongkhapa, and to solicit and to pray and to make offering to them every single day is very important. Why? When you do this every single day, you make an affinity with them. When you make an affinity with them, when the time comes that you're going to die, they're able to be there to watch you, to bless you, to guide you, send signals to make sure that this transition is smooth. That's the real purpose of yidams. People pray to yidams for money and for success and jobs and children and relationships. That's all right. But that's not the real purpose of yidams. Why? Because those things we pray for go away. But the real purpose of making a connection to the yidams every single day, to build a very big altar, to offer silver butter lamps, gold butter lamps, turquoise and jewels and precious items, and to make water offerings, and to make prostrations, and to offer mandalas. All these things that we do for our yidams on our altar is our way of making a connection to get ready for that moment. Because when we go into the clear light meditation, when we're dying, and we go into the clear light meditation, although we're doing this and we may be good, we can invoke upon the yidam, or the yidam's there automatically. Because we've been invoking upon our yidam our whole life. They're there to watch, they're there to bless and give signals. And in our sensitive state of mind, our mind is a very subtle mind. It doesn't need the body, it doesn't need the eyes and ears anymore. In a very subtle form, it can perceive the yidams. You can hear sounds, smells. Perhaps some can directly perceive the yidams. Why? It's just like when we die, If our body becomes a ghost, we can see other ghosts. Why can we see other ghosts? Because our body's in a subtle form. Very, very subtle form. So ghosts won't appear to us as frightening or not frightening. It just appears as other people. Just like now we see other people, it's just as other people. So when we invoke upon the yidam every day, all the time, we collect merits, we purify negative karma, we make a connection, and we prepare ourselves for that time. That time, our wife and our husband and our friends and our relatives and our children and whoever we have spent so much time and energy on can do nothing for us. That is why we don't become attached to them and hurt them and damage them and fight with them. Because why? On one hand, we solicit the yidam and make offerings and collect merit. On the other hand, we fight with people. It doesn't match. So on one hand, you're collecting positive karma. On the other hand, you're collecting negative karma. In extreme cases for people who do the sadhana every day and they hold their commitments, yet their death meditation practice is not really superior, but they have confidence and they do it and they plant the imprints for that. Even those type of people, when they die with less fear, if not fully in control. And with the blessing of the yidam, they can take rebirth. They can take good rebirth. Although their rebirth is not controlled, it is propelled. It is propelled by the force of their positive imprints in their mind, which helps them to take on a better rebirth. And at that time, the yidam is very crucial for blessing them also. Yidam practice is supreme. Is supreme. That's one of the reasons why I did divinations and I selected people to have a Vajrayogini chapel. The real reason I want people to have a Vajrayogini chapel is that they can plant seeds to make a connection to this superior yidam to prepare for their death. For them to die quick? No. For them to die? No. We all have to die. None of you know these things. None of you know how to do these things. So that's why I have people on the committee to do a Vajrayogini chapel, to set up the chapel, to raise funds for the chapel, to order the statue, and to make it very beautiful. Why? Those are all works that make an affinity towards Vajrayogini. And the people who have the greatest honor to be involved directly with Vajrayogini's chapel, you are creating a deity, you are creating a yidam who will be your guide, who will be your protection during the most dangerous and most sacred and scariest, yet the most important journey you will make, death. So that's why even in the meetings, we have to be very kind to each other. Why? What are we meeting for? To create this type of link for everyone. Why are we meeting together? To create this type of affinity for everyone. So the meetings must be smooth and nice and talk well. And whatever we promise in the meetings, it is equivalent to promising Vajrayogini. You may think, the chairman's here, the vice chairman's here, this person here, and I say to them, I do, I don't do, never mind. Or they ask me to, I don't do, never mind, never mind. They're never mind. But we're actually saying no to Vajrayogini. Because what is it for? For the chapel. So creating her statue, creating her images, that's what we can do at this level to prepare for that level. How does someone like us jump from this level to that level? Step by step. And as I said to you, the phenomenon of giving teachings to lay people is not really existent in the past. It's not prevalent. It's small, but it's there. And lay people practicing will be different than monks. For monks, it is not necessary to say to them to practice a Vajrayogini chapel or create one or make one. Why? They have other ways to connect with Vajrayogini, by holding their monk vows, by doing their studies, by getting initiation and going into retreat and doing the practice and doing the meditation every day. Why can they do that? They don't have to work. They didn't burden themselves with children. They didn't burden themselves with house and wife and husband. They didn't burden themselves with all types of distractions and problems and difficulties that they thought would bring them happiness. They didn't do that. So they had the time to do that. So for a monk to connect with a monk or a nun to connect with Vajrayogini, they don't have to do it your way. They don't have to build big chapels. The chapels are for us. Similarly, the chapels that are built in a monastery like Ganden Lachi, that's not for the monks. We say it's for the monks to stay there. It's actually for us. Where would the monks get the money from? It's for the lay people to collect merit in a place that the merit is abundant, a merit field. So therefore, creating a Vajrayogini chapel has a direct connection in my motivation. To make people realize this state. And so there are so many yidams. I have chosen Vajrayogini for everybody in our group. As it is named in Kechara house, Kechara represents Vajrayogini's paradise, Kechara paradise. Kechara or Kachu in Tibetan. Kechara is a Sanskrit word, or Kiajara or Kechara, all the same, for Vajrayogini's paradise, inside and outside. And all practices lead to that practice. Why? That was what was recommended by my gurus for people at this time. So Vajrayogini is the supreme yidam that I try to make everybody connected to. Why? She will help us at the most difficult passage. Death. And another reason Vajrayogini, why not Yamataka? Why not all this? Because you barely have time to even do Lama Tsongkhap's Guru Yoga. Why do you need 2 or 3 yidams? So Yamataka's practice, if you are alright in Dharma, is quite nice. But the 34 arms and 9 faces, 16 legs would be quite complicated for many people, the visualization. So condense the visualization to 1 face, 2 arm. What's the difference between Vajrayogini and Yamataka? No difference at all. None. So it's easier, more efficient, and more quicker for us. So whether we have Tara at home, we have Lama Tsongkhapa at home, whether we have a Manjushri at home, it doesn't matter. Because when we make offerings to an enlightened being, we're making connection to all the enlightened beings. So when we're dying and we make prayers to Vajrayogini, just because we had a big statue of Tara, doesn't mean Vajrayogini doesn't help us. Because why? Merit is merit. Where you make your money from doesn't matter. When you go buy your things, they won't say, oh, if you made your money from Singapore, you can't buy this. If you made your money from Indonesia, you can buy this. Your money has no lineage or where it comes from. As long as it's money, it's money. Similarly, merit is merit. In dependence on what deity you receive the merit from, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all. Does everybody understand that?